Good evening. Thank you for joining us this evening for our village board meeting. Today is July 24, 2017. We'll call this meeting to order at 7:33. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll?
Yes. Trustee McGreal?
Here.
Trustee Dalzell?
Here.
Trustee Pierce?
Here.
Trustee Zelinski?
Here.
Trustee Juarez is running just a few minutes late. Trustee McLaughlin?
Here.
Mayor Ryan?
Here. We have a quorum. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll tell you, I've been on the village board for the last 6 years. As a trustee, I've been mayor for a short time, and seriously, this has been great through attrition to be able to promote more of the policemen, and recently we've hired a few firemen as well, and I'm really happy for a lot of our officers who have got an opportunity to assume a new rank. This evening, this will be my appointment to fill the position of police lieutenant. I'd like to make the appointment of Todd Gutowski. Todd has been a member of the Alsip Police Department for the last 15 years. Prior to Alsip, Todd worked for 5 years with the Marionette Park Police Department as a dispatcher and a police officer. He also put in 1 year as a lockup officer with the Evergreen Park Police Department. He has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Governor State University. Officer Gutowski has also worked his first 5 years in patrol for Alsip, where he worked the midnight shift and became the evidence technician and the field training officer. Todd was also assigned to the investigations unit, where he worked for 7 years as a tactical and an investigator. He's also served as a team leader on several unit operations. Todd was a member of the South Suburban Major Crimes Task Force, also the Southwest Major Case Unit, the South Suburban Juvenile Officers Association, and the Midwest Cycle Intelligence Organization. Todd was promoted to sergeant in 2014, where he has supervised the night shift for the past 3 years. Sergeant Gutowski has also served as an investigations unit supervisor, where he brings certificates as a narcotics investigator, a gang investigator, homicide investigator, along with several specialties including interview, interrogation skills, and investigation of sex crimes. Again, it's my privilege this evening to appoint Sergeant Gutowski to Lieutenant Todd Gutowski, and the clerk will do the honors of swearing you in, Todd. Oh, here we go. Put this on here so we can record it.
Please raise your right hand. I, Todd Gutowski,
I, Todd Gutowski,
having been appointed lieutenant
of
the Village of Alsip
the Village of Alsip
in the County of Cook,
in the County of Cook,
State of Illinois,
do
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
the
duties of the office of lieutenant according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Great. Congratulations, Lieutenant Gutowski. Very good. Thanks. Next on our agenda, we've got a promotion to fill the position of sergeant, which is a tested position. This position, it was qualified by our Police and Fire Commission, and we're going to promote to the rank of sergeant is Chad Resney. Chad began his Chad's been a police officer for the last 19 years. Officer Resney also served as a tactical officer for 3 years, where his primary duties were narcotic and gang investigations. Officer Resney most recently served as the police department's canine handler and held the position of canine handler for the past 8 years. Matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, if you have an opportunity after tonight's meeting, in the past week or so, we just put together a nice tribute to Officer Eddie, who passed away on us. That was the canine that Todd handled. I apologize, Chad handled. And it's right outside the police department doors going into the north parking lot. And it's a nice tribute to Officer Eddie. We've got a statue out there, and our Public Works, and Village Properties did a nice job of landscape around that at the same time. At night it'll be lit up, and it's actually available to do so in different colors and whatnot then too. And again, it's a tribute to Canine Eddie. So at this time, Chad, if you would please come up, and the Police and Fire Commission will swear you in. Folks, real quick, I'd like to introduce our Police and Fire Commission as well. This is Terry Vershik, Kevin O'Connell, and Greg LeComp.
Before I swear Todd in, I want to congratulate. I want to congratulate Todd and Chad. I've known since he started. I happen to be at Station 1 in the fire department, and Chad would often come in and have dinner with us, and good camaraderie. And I think if you look back, you can see that the rest of the police officers appreciate their dedication as well. Thank you guys, and thank family and friends for being witness to this.
Thanks, Terry.
I, Chad Resney,
I, Chad Resney,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the municipal ordinances
the municipal ordinances
of the Village of Alsip,
of the Village of Alsip.
and that I will faithfully discharge
I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of sergeant
the duties of the office of sergeant
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Chad, congratulations. Again, congratulations to Sergeant Resney. Very good. I'd like to take board just a 5-10 minute recess to let the families go out in the hall and they can take photos and whatnot together, and we'll finish our meeting after which. So take 10 minutes, please.
I took a nap before I came and it was
Hey, how are you? Thanks, Chris.
Always like that.
good, are you?
Man, oh man, my wife was
I keep
showing me
these?
like some website.
Do I keep them?
Alsip or something about
Where do I give them to?
donuts and I guess they got a pace bus.
I'm sure I asked you before, but I don't see a signature
So
spot.
like the handicap pace bus, they put a boot in.
I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my wife was showing me. I sent a picture of it on Facebook.
I'm pretty sure I have some of those at home.
Let that guy,
I know they got
let
a
that
lot.
guy ask me too.
I don't care what they sent them ordinance ticket because I don't know if you can buy it. It's old Dunkin'
Because it
Donuts,
says paid on there.
I was just
These
wanting
just
to, I couldn't
copies
call you.
for me.
These updates for Planning and Zoning Commission. Now, some of these guys, like this list hadn't been updated since 2016. And, but this is just my appointment. I don't need advice and consent on this. Do I, or do
Yeah,
I?
you do.
I do,
Yes.
really.
Yes.
I don't have that on the consent agenda. I call for a motion to do that
Yeah,
up
you
here.
ask for a motion. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Those are just the top ones.
The one I sent you.
Thanks.
I'd rather stick with suburban. Chicago's a little bit different.
Can you check with them this week, and then we'll throw it on the committee agenda for next Monday
I'll send it
night.
out to him just to see if there's any changes or anything he wants to make, and then we can put it through. Do that way. And I got you.
You don't need advice.
They rub your face in it.
Yeah, I don't have that ready
But
yet.
on the other ones, you do.
Okay.
Not them would have never been towed. Never been booted.
Well, what's happening, buddy? What are you doing over here, Bill?
Actually,
What are you doing all the time today?
it's not regulated by anybody. It costs a lot
Oh,
less
thanks,
than a
Cal.
truck.
Yeah, no, yeah, he struggled. He struggled for the last 2 years with throat and tongue cancer, and unfortunately, yeah, he's had a feeding tube in him for the last 6-8 months, and actually a couple months ago, I bought a beautiful Harley off a guy in Chicago Ridge, and one of my brothers wants to keep it, so he's going to buy out the other brothers and that kind of thing too. You know, but beautiful Dynamite or whatever. It's an 05, beautiful bike. Yeah, real nice. So yeah, thanks. Yeah, unfortunately, Mark, didn't have a great quality of life, and the whole family was with him last Monday. Got short and broad. Basically, just fell asleep on the sofa and passed away.
I had a company.
Yeah.
So not only
But we had a nice ceremony for him, all that kind of stuff. So thanks.
How are you?
So you're the killer. They're gonna get, but not me. Because they know the license plate.
Oh, no.
You're sending them a letter.
I thought about it.
You know, you guys need it too. You know, we're going to sit there and share the love. Let's share the love universal. Yeah?
I didn't know you were doing it.
They have to find ordinances online.
He does the same thing we do.
See?
I do. And
She's going for cake.
Yeah.
Stays that way.
Okay.
How about you?
He's out of Kankakee. He's got a ton.
Excellent.
He's the attorney in
You said 10 minutes. I'm watching time. He's got it. He's got it. No, he's got like 6 minutes. Best ever. Honest to God. Yeah, that's okay.
Really?
I love this.
whatever it is.
I know some.
He told me he couldn't go to me. And they said, well, we only got one
There's a
meeting.
bunch of them. No, none of us do.
It's Skype in. So I, good way of doing it, right? Right. Why not? Right. So he's, that's.
Oh, he is.
So yeah, we're.
I'm not a gambler. I don't
How are the babies?
I know how to put money into a slot machine.
I do bridge.
And
I do bridge.
I know that I won $7,000.
That's why.
I won $5,000. It cost me $7,000.
So we're everybody except they don't want. Everybody come down here. So, I appreciate
Right.
it. And I know you.
Really?
You know what? If you learn in every great market,
And they run a very good police department there. You know that. Right.
Yeah, he is smart. He always is.
No, and they're good people. Right.
That's good.
Right. Jimmy Sexton is the best.
Was.
I mean, you know, and our whole battle now is keeping the hill job.
Yeah, because they know they'll get it back.
You know,
Yeah,
no matter
exactly,
where
yeah.
you go, as I say,
Thanks,
I've never.
First
Yeah, it's a neat area.
Sure. It's a commercial creature.
You got about 5 more minutes
So,
for your 10-minute quarters.
That document was like,
Yeah, I wrote down the time.
Give it a couple of minutes on that.
You got 5.
but I can
No, you
see,
got-
you know,
It was funny.
I can
We
see.
get a timeshare out there,
I can see the
and we had gone out there the last 2 years.
Try to keep this moving.
And
Yeah, no problem. He likes that too.
Yeah, 'cause we got a lot.
at the end of when we left, so they had the delegates out there. And that started the next day, the day that we were leaving, when it started the debates. And it was amazing because while we're there,
give me a
there's no scantling
There's no burger flipper though.
the sidewalks. None of that.
Well, we don't get those. We get the ones that
The
are
thing the same big as our roads.
applicable to stores. So
Hey, Mike, I'm not too sure. You also?
$31.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Lovely.
It's just, man,
You know what?
Oh,
I'll just mention you folks are here in case anyone does have a question, and we'll let the board go with that and stuff then too. And I'll be honest with you, I don't have the application in front of me. Which property is this again now?
Oh. Oh
That's for
my
La
God,
Criolla?
this is exciting.
Gotcha. Okay, no problem.
Oh, that sounds like so much
I always
fun.
wonder about it.
Yeah. Well, have fun. Okay, you too, Kevin.
it brings a lot of
That's fun when you hear that happen.
Right away, too?
Yeah, right away is even more fun. It sets the tone for your whole trip.
I mean, sometimes it doesn't really
What point you in as long as you get it.
Yeah.
Well, wait, they wreck them. You're right.
Totally is.
Okay, you're welcome.
That's the
Based on
realtor and the lawyer. It's the realtor and the lawyer for La Criolla.
tell you, the
And
restaurant.
they're doing the 6 feet.
Yeah?
Polish restaurant by Capri. Me and my sister tried to go in there not
Want to
this
speak to them
weekend,
at
the
all?
weekend before.
No, they're fine.
It was
He just
way
asked
outside
if
the door,
you
an hour
need
away. So we had to go across the street.
No, you don't need a presentation, do you? No.
I'm just glad you're here
But we
because
got to go in there.
Right, right, that's all. You don't want people presenting.
Yeah,
That's-
it's
you
like-
know,
it was like, it's nice.
Then you'll be here until midnight.
Oh, yeah. It's the best.
When you look at some of
No,
the
you don't
ways-
want, it's a bad habit to start.
I do too, obviously.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with
Right.
No.
Yeah, we really
It's so glad you
Oh, fine.
told me
Okay,
about
no
it.
problem. I'll take it.
But we gotta get back there.
What you gotta do is you gotta hire internal people. You wanna hit it, some of their if it is, right around opening time.
Very hard.
Yeah, that's true.
He was, no, not for me, but he was in charge of the TAC team.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He was undercover. He was maybe only at the very end was he not undercover. But he was a TAC guy.
Yeah, I did.
They were up and down Western Avenue and 87th Street. You didn't have a tag on your car.
Really?
It was stopped. I mean, you know what?
Yeah.
And you guys got to do the same thing here too. I mean, because I can see the stuff creeping in here. You're going to have to. You're also going to have to start doing building inspections when they sell the houses, Jack.
I do remember you did.
Because you can't allow this shit to happen.
I seen you sitting over here.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Oh, we do that too?
Yeah, so yeah.
We do that in everything.
Yeah, no, we do it on multi-family, but not just individual properties.
Yeah, we do.
No.
Well, it's not the money, but it's, you got to keep the housing stock. Right. I mean, you got to do that, and you got to do the.
yeah, so far, I mean, a couple of people getting promoted.
I mean, listen, if somebody can buy a house for $50,000, what are you going to get?
One guy's taking my spot in the
Kids get quality of life.
Right. And that's why
Not
you.
to mention a safe house at the same time.
Right. You can't. So that's why you got to keep the.
This one
Keep the prices up. You got to have them inspected. You got to make sure they do what they're
never
doing.
know. It's hit or miss. Sometimes
Make sure they put the improvements in, stuff like that.
back in business, I'll do.
Sounds good. Sure. 10 minutes.
Gotta go.
Come in, Dan.
Let me give Joe the high sign.
Glad to see you here. I hope you're coming.
When he said 10 minutes,
come up and see me every time you come in.
Yeah, no, like I said, You're on top of it. Yeah, that could go on. You don't realize.
Especially because I'm high school. We did talk for about 20 minutes.
Do you know how to say
It was early in the morning. I like got there. Well, it's good that you work with the kids there too. I mean, that's important.
Yes, that's good.
I asked him what to
Just, I would write it in whatever phonetic you got.
And sometimes you get in trouble. I hope not too much though. Thanks again. Appreciate you showing up here. Hope you enjoy it.
I just don't want to do it wrong. Thank you.
Same person?
All right, thank you very much for your patience. We'll call this meeting back to order at 7:54. And also, for the record, Trustee Juarez came in at 7:33. Next on the agenda, number 3, update on the mayoral appointments of the Planning and Zoning Commission. This list was last updated February 24th, 2016. Our Planning and Zoning Commission consists of 7 people serving 3-year terms. At this time, I basically what I have on your agendas is updated, and I'll point out the new names on here as well, then too, who are filling in some vacant positions. So I'd like to make a motion to appoint the following commissioners. Chuck Rolfson currently serves on the commission, and we had a retirement of Dennis Kelly recently, so I've asked Jim Tarquino to fill that role. He said he would. Their term would expire April 30th, 2020. Next would be current commissioners Larry Martin, Brett Van Huysen, and Stan Graycheck, and their term expires next year, April 30th, 2018. And lastly would be the spot to replace Trustee Zielinski, because he cannot serve on 2 boards, will be Commissioner John Gallagher will take his place, and that term expires January 13th, 2018.
January 3rd.
You're right, I got my numbers there. January 3rd, 2018, for the record. So at this time, I'd ask for a motion to approve these appointments. So moved.
Can I have a question, John?
Sure.
Why would it expire at such an odd time? Normally, they coincide with the fiscal years.
You know what, I actually took this from our website, and they just had one staggered for the one position. I'm not sure why, but that's the way it was. That's the way it was.
It shouldn't be.
organized.
They should all end.
They should have ended in a
They should all
3-year.
end April 30th.
Just in different years.
Yeah.
Would it be okay, Mr.
Amend
Kankar,
it.
if we amended that?
Yeah. It should
Okay.
be. Yeah. It
So,
should be April 30th. I don't know, 2018 or 2019.
okay, so we're going to amend,
When did?
okay, then we'll amend the
It should be
last
probably
one.
19 based on...
You think it's
the other ones.
19?
19. Hmm?
You have them 18, 19, and 20.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll amend this last one then for John Gallagher to serve until 4/30/19, 2019. Okay, and I did hear a motion by,
Trustee Dazal, I believe.
okay. Can we have a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you. And can we call the roll, please?
Sure. Roll call number 1 to accept the appointments as read into the record. Trustee McGreal?
Yes.
Trustee Delzell?
Yes.
Trustee Pierce?
Yes.
Trustee Zielinski?
Yes.
Trustee Juarez?
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is a request for approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip making a determination of the prevailing wage. Number 5, request for an approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip approving a Class 6B assessment status for the real estate located at 12828 South Ridgeway. The PIN number is included in here in the Village of Alsip, Cook County, Illinois. This is also going to be known as La Criolla. This is going to be a business that's actually relocating from Chicago off Randolph Street that's chosen the Village of Alsip for the new location. This is actually a spice distribution business. They actually manufacture spices at this company. Number 6, we have a presentation by the Alsip Chamber of Commerce and Alsip Industrial Association to award this year's scholarship winners for the 2017 high school students attending college this fall semester. So at this time, I'd like to have the Alsip Chamber of Commerce and Industrial Association come forward to make their presentation to their winners.
Well, Mayor Ryan, village trustees, residents of Alsip, and business representatives, I'm Gus Vandenbrink, the president of the Alsip Industrial Association, and I am proud to represent the Industrial Association and also the Chamber of Commerce, as I'm a board member on that board. The Alsip Industrial Association and Chamber of Commerce offer a scholarship program to graduating high school seniors to provide additional financial support for college or trade schools. Scholarship funds are awarded to village residents, village employees, their immediate family members, and to employees and their immediate family members of companies who are members of the Alsip Industrial Association or the Alsip Chamber of Commerce. The scholarship fund was formed 25 years ago to help educate our future workforce. To date, approximately $177,000 in scholarship funds have been awarded to 157 students. On Friday, May 19, if you remember, that day was a bitter, cold, and miserable golf day. We held the Alsip Scholarship Fund's 9th annual 3-club golf outing at Fountain Hills Golf Club here in Alsip. Through the generosity of 65 golfers and this year's corporate sponsors, who were the Action Sertoma Club, Metro South Medical Center, the Lombard Company, Grove Masonry, F&G Roofing Company, Industrial Welder Rebuilders, Ray Products, Ulster Construction, MB Financial, American Charter Bank, Sprinkler Fitter Union 2, Torrey Construction, Sertoma Center, and Allegra Marketing and Print Mail, we were able to raise just over $8,000 in scholarship funds. I would like to introduce those in attendance who were instrumental in contributing and supporting the Alsip Scholarship Fund. Mary Schmidt, right here, our Executive Director of the Chamber. Denise Habdas, our Secretary of the Alsip Industrial Association. Donna Gruenberg, Board Member on the Alsip Industrial Association. Scott Peterson, Vice President of the Alsip Industrial Association Board, and Jim McKenna, Alsip Industrial Association. Maybe I'll just say AIA so it's quicker. In the back of the room there, board member, and Arnie Franker, also an AIA board member. But before awarding the scholarships, the AIA and Chamber would like to give special recognition to one of these individuals for their extraordinary efforts and commitment over the years to make the golf outing and scholarship fund a success. Donna Gruenberg, would you please come forward? Donna works tirelessly each year to contact local businesses for financial and prize donations. Then she takes those prizes to make wine baskets and colorful displays for them at the event. And of course she works through setup, through the event, and through cleanup as well. Many hands make light work, and Donna is a person that makes an event a success and gets the work of many hands done with just her 2 hands. So Donna, on behalf of the Alsip Industrial Association and the Chamber, we would like to award you this beautiful award. It says, Donna Gruenberg, thanks for your tireless effort to the many Alsip Scholarship Fund 3-club golf outings.
Oh my heavens, thank you so much. I thought I was here for the award for the children that got the awards, not for myself.
Well, it's very appropriate, and we thank you so much. Congratulations.
Well, this is what it's all about. It's for our students to better enrich their lives in any way, and I enjoy being on the board. I enjoy helping out, and I hope that this is just this year of another 8 for next year. We keep working on from one year to the next, so this golf outing's over May, and we start already in the fall for next year. So maybe with the efforts of more people, maybe we can make it 10,000 next year. But I don't do it alone. I do have some help, but I appreciate the thought. Thank you so
You're
much.
very welcome. Thank you.
I'm sorry my husband's not here to see this because he's the one that takes the brunt of the whole thing.
Well, you thank him
Nobody
for us, too.
appreciates what you do. Wait until he sees this.
Thank you, Donna. And now Mayor Ryan and Mary Schmidt are going to help congratulate our scholarship recipients. I would like to ask our scholarship recipients here tonight to come forward when I call your name and accept your scholarship and receive congratulations from Mayor Ryan and Mary Schmidt. And we'd also like to ask them just to introduce themselves, tell us their course of study and what their future career plans are. So we are pleased to announce our 2017 scholarship recipients. And I will start with, and they're not all here, so I'm going to read their name. And if you're here, please come forward, and then we'll go on from there. Kayla Cabrera, Conrad Kepka, congratulations. Cynthia Reyes. Danielle Spell. Lindsay Triban. Sydney Kleiner. Reem Motan. Sydney Tiemans. Okay, we would just like you to introduce you with your name and what your course of study and what your career plans are.
My name's Conrad. Speak a little louder. My name's Conrad Kepka. I want to study civil engineering, and in the future I hope to maybe start my own business, maybe even return to Poland, start a business there. Thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for giving me this opportunity. That's all.
I'm Cynthia Reyes, and I want to study nursing, hoping to help people out in the future.
I'm Danielle Spell. I plan on studying marketing and economics, and I plan on working in the business field.
I'm Lindsay Triban, and I plan to study electrical engineering to work on either power grids or trains or just general electricity, stuff like that.
I'm Sydney Kleiner. I plan to major in special education to be an autism teacher somewhere around here, probably, D218 maybe.
Jim, you want to bring up the formal ceremonial check, or check, I should say, just to sign that we did raise just over $8,000. It was a really, really good year. Had a lot of support, so thank you to the business community and everyone so that we could give these scholarship awards to these blooming students.
Get us all.
Maybe you can get your tuition paid.
This is an awesome book.
Congratulations.
Letter of acceptance and your fall schedule, please do that. Do that at the chamber office. Many of you have already, but we'll do that now.
If you guys figure out which one has to go to catch that
Very good. Again, congratulations to everybody. Next on our agenda would be the clerk's report. Clerk Pretzel.
Thank you. I have a request for approval of a refund to Gail Stringfellow of $64 for 2 vehicle stickers purchased, but she is a resident of unincorporated Cook County. That is all I have, Mayor.
Okay. This evening we have Attorney Vince Kankar with us. Attorney's report.
No report.
Thank you. Engineer's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a request for approval to go out to bid for the water main replacement for various locations. This was actually on the committee meeting agenda presented last night with IEPA water load. So,
Okay.
otherwise, I'm here again. But just to recap, it's Trip Keeler 127. And I also have a request for approval of a resolution for maintenance of streets and highways by municipality under the Illinois Highway Code for the total amount of $795,000 of motor fuel tax funds for the 2017-18 general maintenance program. And that's all I have.
Yeah. Trustees, I wanted to real quick circle back to my own report. When I was reading off the 6B assessment that's on my agenda this evening, we do have representatives here from that organization, should anyone have any questions. Did anybody have any questions on that 6B application? Okay. Just want to put that out there in case anybody did. So, going back, the public forum. Any questions from the public? Anybody would like to speak to this board? No one? Thank you. Standing committees, Finance Committee, Trustee McGlawhorn.
I have a request for approval for a list of payroll dated July 21st, 2017, totaling $423,065.25. I also have a request for approval for accounts payable dated July 24th, 2017, totaling $2,221.33. I'll read from the recap on that. Corporate fund, $547,868.62. Road and Bridge, $22,922.79. 911, $34,064.86. Pulaski Corridor TIF, $4,000 even. Waterworks, $1,369,400.83. And Heritage 2, $21,964.23. That's all I have under finance.
Fire report, Trustee McGlawhorn.
All right. I have request for approval of an ordinance amending Chapter 9 Fire Prevention and Protection, Article 1 in general, Section 9-3 False Alarms, originating from automatic protection or signaling devices, and Section 9-6 Cost Recovery Program of the Municipal Code of the Village of Alsip. Everybody should have a copy of that formal ordinance.
This was something that was actually passed 2 weeks ago. This is the attorney's actually written language for the change of the ordinance. So this has been voted on already 2 weeks ago.
Right, so this is just the formal ordinance part.
Correct.
We also have an update of the 911 meeting.
Right. So we had a meeting today. We had a 911 board meeting this morning at 9 o'clock. We discussed the presentations from the dispatch centers. We had a lot of good discussion with Oak Lawn. Oak Lawn Central is actually in the audience, so we were able to ask a lot of questions that involves the technical aspect of it, as well as the connectivity of it. We were hoping to have a recommendation tonight. However, representatives from Southwest were not in attendance at the meeting. There are questions we want to ask from them. This coming Thursday at 9 a.m., we do have another special 911 meeting. We are going to invite them also. Sometime between Thursday and Friday, each of the trustees will receive an updated packet with all the information from both Oak Lawn Central and Southwest Central. During today's meeting, one of the things that we did rule out was using Orland as fire dispatch only. So we are now down to 2 vendors, Oak Lawn and Southwest Central. We will have it on the agenda for next Monday night as a formal recommendation from the 911 committee, what direction that we feel that we should go in, and then, again, obviously leave it up to the board decision because of the money coming out of the general funds as well. So a very good productive meeting, a lot of good questions, a lot of good answers. We are now getting down to the nitty-gritty. We are at the point that we need to stop kicking the can down the road. It's been being kicked for the last year and a half, 2 years. We're at that final stage right now where we need to make a decision on where we are going at this point and what our recommendations are based on the information we have from those two centers. Questions at all? Mayor, you going to say something?
Nope. I was there. Good 2-hour meeting we had today and so forth. So
very productive meeting.
And I believe tomorrow, the finance director, Kent, are you going there tomorrow with the IT manager?
We are. The IT manager has some questions about Southwest and requested that the two of us go over there, meet with their executive director, and almost more importantly, their IT person, so those questions can be addressed as well.
Very good.
So I believe in confidence that we will have a recommendation for the board, and again, you guys will take it on after that. So.
Okay, and then also within everybody's board packet, there is a listing of the recommended inspection fees. However, we failed to actually get that on the agenda for tonight. So I'm not sure if everybody's had a chance to look at it. However, Chief is asking if we can at least come to a consensus on those fees so that he can get his paperwork.
And this was discussed at last week's committee meeting based on the meeting I had with the Chamber of Commerce as well as the Industrial Association. So this is the formal part. There was a communication with the clerk's office and how it wasn't put on the agenda. What I'm looking for tonight is just a consensus to see if we're good with going with this language. So at least we can start our documentation process, and we'll bring it up to a formal vote at the next actual board meeting. So at least we can move forward with our inspections. We're already, by the time we get this in place, we'll be in September. We're going to be 4 months behind on our annual inspections. So I'm trying not to get too far behind, if you will. So these are the same rates that I brought up last week. There's not anything different with it.
And again, Chief, these are the rates that were proposed back in 2014, for that matter.
Actually, we reduced in 2014. We still had an effect for commercial and industrial between 100 and 200. We're actually eliminating one fee and actually reducing the highest fee from $50.
Right. And again, we did say those fees haven't been adjusted since when?
1982.
There you go. So.
And we're also going to use, at the request of Trustee Dizelle, we are also going to track it, and by the end of the year, we'll know what our actual recouping costs are and what our actual costs are for inspection. So we'll have that part of our data as well.
And for anybody looking for the list, it's on page 74 of the board packet.
Well, way down the line.
Yes.
Do we need to
we spoke after the meeting last time, the mayor and I, about the
multifamily?
No, not the condos or the apartments or anything. It was the multi-building businesses.
Okay. Right.
I see here that you have like an additional $1 per unit after a certain amount. Is there something additional that we can have to the multi-building business? I mean, I understand you're keeping the fees as low as possible, but it's also going to take time for you guys to travel from one to another and start your inspections over. So.
Oh, you mean for multi-buildings? Like, give you a good example. GC America now we have 2 separate buildings.
Right.
In the near future, they'll have 2 separate buildings, but you'll be walking across 10 feet across from one building to the other. Most of the buildings that have multiple buildings are in the same vicinity, so we don't have to walk very far or travel very far from one building to the next building. Very few are across town. So that's one of the advantages. A good example is Crown Court Conceal. Crown Court Conceal has 2 addresses, 5555 115th, 11535 Central. It's a matter of walking across the parking lot from one to the other. So there's not a whole lot of starting over, if you will.
Okay.
Johnson Machine's another example. They have 6 plants. They're within a block of each other. So they'll be, I can't say 100% with certainty because there are some that travel right now, but the majority of them are in the same vicinity, so it's not like we have to start all over again. We're going to have the same representatives that are taking us through from one building to the other, so it does save us time compared to starting all over again.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Why did you drop these fees? I mean, you say these haven't changed in 35 years. I mean, usually you see
the
things
original
go up.
fees, if the original fees that I brought up originally in our meeting, I don't even know how long ago, on the village side, let me see if I can find it. The original fees for commercial and industrial buildings were $20 for 25,000 square feet. That has not been changed since 1982. And then any additional 25,000 square foot was $5 per each 25,000. Those have never changed. So we looked at, and I spent a lot of time with my fire prevention, one of my fire prevention directors, as well as one of my inspectors, to actually determine how long is it going to take to do inspections at one of our larger buildings. A good example is Mini Mill. Mini Mill we're looking at between an hour and a half and 2 hours because it's a large building. So what is our actual real cost in doing the annual inspections versus what we want to charge? So we're trying to do some real-time costs and make the costs more palatable, so we're actually recouping our costs, not necessarily making a profit for the general fund, but actually recouping our costs and trying to keep the cost down for the businesses. Nobody likes getting hit with another fee. Plain and simple. We know that, and we see what's going on in Cook County right now with the, pop tax and everything else, and they can call it what you want to call it. It's still an additional fee. So we want to make it worth that they're getting a service out of that fee, not that we're gouging, if that makes sense.
Why didn't you just leave it alone?
Because $20 is not enough. I mean, from the original fees in 2014?
No, on the over 100,000 square feet where you change from $200 to $150, and then where you completely eliminate the over 200,000 square feet.
Because we're looking at what our actual real costs are going to be.
So
in 2014, we never had the ability to actually review what it was because it stopped so quickly. But based on what our inspectors are telling us for the actual large buildings, that is going to be our closer to our real costs instead of being over, if you will.
Okay, so you'll show us data that
Correct.
recouping your costs.
Correct. So what we're going to do on our spreadsheet is we're going to identify how much time, average time our inspectors are in their facility, as well as what our square footage is, to be able to come closer to accurately determining what our recouping costs are.
All right, why wouldn't we have that before we write the ordinance?
Well, we have it right now. That's why we changed it, because based on what we've done over the last couple of years with our past inspections.
Okay.
In 2014, we were still doing paper reports. 2014 we were barely into the rebuilding stage of our fire prevention program. Since then, we are a third year into this, so we got a little bit more down pat. We have better data now. We're able to track that with the program that we're using. We have better methods of doing our inspections. And the other key part that hasn't really been talked about in a while is we're also using the building commissioner as part of it as well. So the recouping cost isn't just for the fire department. It's actually for the building department as well as the building commissioner also for his time as well. So that's one of the biggest differences between both of them, between 2014 and now. We didn't have enough time in 2014 to be able to analyze what we were doing or how well we were doing because the program stopped short within several weeks after it began, if that makes sense.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions, trustees or mayor?
No, I was here for the presentation, Chief, and I thought we did a nice job at presenting, as you said. And again, the fees are competitive with our neighboring communities as well, too, so.
And they're actually, if you go to the northern suburbs, they're much lower than the northern suburbs. They really are. Again, we're not trying to gouge anybody. We're just trying to recoup what it costs for our service. And, you know, because we are such an industrial and commercialized village, obviously our resources are, you know, we have to look at our resources a little bit differently than a bedroom community or just a retail community, if you will. So we're very unique in our situation.
And very quickly, along with their report too, and I think we've explained this before, but just quickly is the idea that when the chief says about recouping our cost, we used to always have, like many departments, we'd have our firemen on shift do all the fire inspections, and we found that we were almost 6 months behind schedule, whereas the chief sacrificed a deputy chief, and basically we incorporated a fire inspector instead to keep up with those, because certainly the businesses are definitely a priority to us, and if for any reason one caught fire because of we didn't get out to do a better inspection, certainly we can't accept that liability as well. So we're doing our due diligence to look out for your interest, which is why we arrived to where we are now. So, okay.
Right, and you have presented these to the chamber.
Yes, we had a very good meeting several Fridays ago with about 25 people from both the Industrial Association as well as the Chamber of Commerce. I think it was a very good, productive meeting. A lot of good questions were asked. And, you know, I believe they fully understood where we were coming from and why we're trying to do this, especially in today's age. You know, it comes down to fiscal responsibility. We know what everybody's budget rules are, and we're trying to provide a service to protect them as well as their employees as well as their patrons. So.
Does anybody have any issues with the rates presented? Okay, and I said we'll have this officially on the.
And the next board meeting, if I can just get a quick consensus vote so I can still work on at least our process, so when we start this, we have everything in place. And I know there's more discussions going on with the budget with personnel and stuff like that, but that's down the road a little bit.
Very good. So you're going to put this on the committee next week?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and we're going to probably have a special board meeting after which to approve a budget, so we can include that if we need.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'll make sure it's on
all right.
the agenda.
That's it for fire?
That's it.
Thanks. Next report, police, Trustee McGreal.
I have a presentation of the June monthly activity report, and then just informationally, the 911 Enhanced Telephone System Board is going to have a special public meeting on Thursday, the 27th, in conference room number 1 at 9 a.m. here at the Village Hall. Okay. And then I have 4 letters of recognition. I'd like to read, it's the same letter that goes to 4 different officers, so I'll read one. There's 4 letters of recognition from Police Chief Jay Miller to Officer Schmidt, Officer Yodelis, Officer Kenny, and Officer Micah Lychek. I hope I said his name right. Thank you. On June 24th, 2017, Officers Yodelis and Michael Lychek were on a traffic stop with a DUI driver. While speaking to the female subject, a silver-colored vehicle pulled in front of the officers and stopped. Officer Yodelis, Schmidt, and Kenny made contact with the male driver. Officer Schmidt noticed a case of ammunition on the back seat of the vehicle while he was speaking to the male driver. Officer Schmidt asked the driver if he had a firearm, and the subject stated yes, but it was unloaded and in the trunk of the vehicle. Officer Kenny then informed Officer Schmidt that he could see the barrel of a firearm sticking out from under the front passenger seat. The subject was detained and a loaded firearm was found under the seat. Ammunition was also recovered from the interior of the vehicle. One additional loaded firearm was recovered from the trunk of the vehicle. At the Alsip Police Department, Officer Michael Lychek interviewed the subject, who admitted to possessing the loaded gun inside the driver's compartment and placed it under the front passenger seat when the officers approached him. The subject was charged with the felony of aggravated unlawful use of a weapon. Your actions during this incident are worthy of special mention and recognition. Your attention to the details within the incident speaks highly of your dedication to aggressively detect criminal activity and arrest criminal offenders. It also proudly shows your deep commitment to helping this agency accomplish its mission and goals. Please accept my personal congratulations on a job well done. Respectfully, Jay Miller, Chief of Police. And I'd like to add our congratulations also. It was wonderful work.
Yeah. Is it?
That's all.
Thank you. Next, Public Works, Trustee Juarez.
I have a request for approval of a refund to Christine Lorick of $27 for one vehicle sticker purchased at full price but is a senior citizen and should have been charged $5. I have a request for approval of a refund to Eloise Nechik of $27 for one vehicle sticker purchased at full price but is a senior citizen and should have been charged $5. Request for approval of a refund to Esteban Sanchez Gayton of $32 for a vehicle sticker purchased for a vehicle he no longer owns. Presentation of June monthly activity report. Presentation of sanitary inflow infiltration control program. Mike.
Good evening. Thank you. We wanted to provide everyone with kind of a brief presentation here of you guys have all heard the MWRD inflow infiltration program that we are now a couple years into. We're entering into the next part of it, of the what they consider the short-term plan. So just to kind of give you a brief overview here of the MWRD Watershed Management Ordinance, or the WMO. We're going to talk about education on the inflow and infiltration sources, the goals of the village's I&I reduction program, and an overview of the sewer system, as well as sewer investigations mandated by the MWRD, and a cost estimate and schedule. So the MWRD adopted a watershed management ordinance on July 10, 2014, and it applies to all satellite sewer systems. Satellite sewer systems are your local municipality. So the village of Alsip is a satellite sewer system. We tie into the MWRD interceptor system. Article 8 of that WMO is referencing the I&I control program. The scope of Article 8 is to prevent sanitary sewer overflows and basement backups, comply with MWRD's MPDS permit conditions, which we currently do now, and reduce wet weather flows to MWRD wastewater treatment plants. So what does that mean for Alsip? So we've already completed the assessing the sewer system. We did that in 2015. In that time, we also identified high priority areas within the village. Investigated these high priority areas for sewer defects. We have to do at least 10% of our entire system between now and 2019. And then we're going to have to repair any high priority defects that are identified in that investigation starting in 2019 and beyond. And then I'd just like to say, too, with that deadline is coming up quickly. In 2019, it'll be here before we know it. You know, the sanitary sewer system is one of our greatest assets here. It's one of the largest assets the village owns, and it's very important that we try to follow this program and meet the mandates by MWRD. This right here kind of shows you an example of I&I sources for infiltration. So we're looking at two different sides here. We got first the public property defects. So some of those would be storm sewer cross connection, storm sewer interconnects that the arrow's pointing to there, the deteriorated manholes, leaky sewer lateral connections, leaking manhole covers, cracked or broken pipe, And then we have the private property defects. So as you can see just in this picture, just storm and sanitary, the amount of pipes and defects that can be found underground just from that is pretty impressive. On the private property side, you have the foundation drains cross connection that could break, uncapped cleanouts, root intrusion, and broken sewer laterals. Gutter downspouts tied in, and sump pumps, which are prohibited from being tied into the sanitary mains. So this is our number one priority right here. This is what we're trying to prevent, is basement backups. This can be very devastating to families and businesses. Our goal is to always try to prevent this. So this graphic right here shows you kind of how you get infiltration into a basement backup. The arrows pointing down indicates rainfall. What happens next is it starts collecting into the storm sewer catch basins. It then begins to fill into the storm sewer mains. As that water continues to collect and the system becomes overwhelmed, it starts to make its way into the sanitary. And as the sanitary begins to become overwhelmed, then you start to see the backup into the basements of residents or, in some cases, retails or businesses. So sanitary sewer overflows. This right here is a couple pictures of sanitary sewers that you might see out in the street or on a parkway. Again, when that system becomes overwhelmed, it'll start to what we call surcharge. So that's actually sewage water that starts to begin to come out. Oops, sorry. Let's see if that plays. No, it doesn't want to play. Hang on. No. It's supposed to be a video that would actually show it. Flowing out of into the street, and again, we want to prevent sewage water from getting into the creeks and our lakes, storm sewers, people's property. Give this to Will.
So this is some of the sewer system details for the village. Total service area for the village is approximately 4,100 acres. 3 lift stations, and once again, for anybody that doesn't understand what a lift station does, is it takes sanitary sewage from a lower elevation and it pumps it up to a higher elevation so it can eventually gravity flow out. There are 46 connections to the MWD sewers within the village, and that's an extremely high connection rate. Don't usually see that in most of our communities.
Most communities are anywhere between 6 and 13.
The village owns and maintains approximately 59 miles of sanitary sewers. We have gone through and based on the connection points to the MWRD sewer system and sewage flow, we have identified the flow map for the entire village. You can see there's a bunch of different basins within the village. With the help of Public Works, we've identified the high priority area for the village. This is approximately 10% of the village's sanitary sewer system, and this is the 10% comes from a mandate from MWRD. It was agreed, this area was also approved by MWRD to investigate as well. This is thought to be a large contributor of the INI for the village. Within the high priority area, there's approximately 44,000 feet of sanitary sewer, 250 manholes, and 761 dwellings. As part of the MWRD investigation, we will be cleaning and televising sewer, smoke testing, inspecting manholes, inspecting one lift station because that falls within the high priority area, and performing exterior property inspections. I don't think we want to do that. Total cost of the program is about $296,000. This is broken up into multi-phases, fiscal year 2017, 2018, 2018, 2019. $150,000 per fiscal year. This was budgeted.
Right, it was appropriated.
For the 2017-2018 fiscal year, we plan on performing the smoke testing, manhole inspections, the lift station inspection, and exterior property inspections, and that total amount is around $150,000. For fiscal year 2018-2019, we would do the actual sewer cleaning and televising. That would be the remainder of the $300,000. The repairs are unknown at this time. We may find some emergency repairs that need to be done immediately, but all of this investigation is to determine what needs to be done with the system to resolve the I&I. So all of this work, all this investigation work, must be completed by July of 2019 in order to be compliant with that. This is an anticipated schedule of work. Once again, this won't take the entire amount of time that's shown on here, but it is the duration for these investigations. We would start off with the smoke testing in August. The duration would be approximately 2 months, and then we move on to the manhole inspections for the next 3 months. There would be a break until the spring where we would investigate the lift station and do the external home investigations. And then beginning fiscal year 2018, 2019, we would begin with the cleaning and televising of the sewer system. And that takes approximately 4 months to get through.
And I just want to add too, some of the defects found during the investigation, they may require emergency repairs as we come across. And again, we won't know until we begin these investigations. So cleaning and televising sanitary sewers. So some of the things that we'll be looking for is a break in the connection. So break in connection, what that means is a service coming from either resident or business, cracked pipe within the sanitary pipe, a collapsed pipe, and one of the new things that we're starting to see comes from directional drilling, directional boring. A lot of utility companies out there now are using this method, and they're starting to go through other structures underground. As you know, there's a lot of things under there now, and this may be something that we come across as well. This right here is, I don't know why it keeps doing that on me. This here is a video of inside sanitary sewer pipe. As you can see, the outside there, the walls of the pipe, concrete, it's eroded, it's in really bad shape. This is where you start to see cracks and breaks. There's also a sag in that pipe that's identified. So this is where you would see infiltration from stormwater. In this video here, this is a pipe that's actually been lined. So see how smooth it is. You don't have any cracks. This will add an additional 50 years at least to the life of that pipe. It's also the most cost effective. It doesn't require any breaking of the ground. It's less intrusive to residents and businesses in the area.
One of the most cost-effective ways of identifying the I&I points is through smoke testing. Here's a couple of examples of some defective areas. Clean-out cap in the front lawn, a defective lateral line, so basically a crack in the lateral pipe, the service to the house. A cross connection between the storm sewer and sanitary sewer. You can see the smoke coming up from the catch basin. And this would be where downspouts are tied into the sanitary sewer. So you would see the smoke coming out from the rooftops.
And obviously, when we would begin this process, letters would go out, notifying residents that this type of inspections being done, so we don't have several complaints or alarming residents. So yes, we'll make sure that communication is key once this process begins.
Yeah, this is the easiest way to determine the INI points, and without being able to do this, it would be virtually impossible to figure out where the INI is coming in.
So then we're going to look at manhole inspections as well. Some of the typical defects that we see inside manholes is bench failure. So bench failure, that's actually the bottom of the structure itself, or the manhole. It's where the pipes come in. Manhole frame offset. This is where we start to see a lot of sinkholes that'll start to form around some of these sewers because there's no seal provided anymore. You start getting infiltration through there. Broken frame and lid, and missing grout around the pipe. Again, these are all points of infiltration into the sanitary.
Right. All of this information that we're going to collect is going to be put into the GIS system. All defects are categorized per the NASCO standards, and NASCO stands for National Association of Sewer Service Contractors. It's a method to grade defects in the nationwide standard. It is mandated by MWRD. You have to have certified inspectors in order to do this work. Currently, the village does not have any public works employees. Is that correct?
Correct.
All the data will be inserted into the GIS map and added to the village's GIS system. Public Works Department will be receiving 4 tablets so that they can update the work continuously as time goes on and be able to access all of the data.
So one of the other requirements is going to be exterior property inspections. And some of the typical defects that we see with that is stairway drain, a sun pump discharge, an area drain, and a driveway drain. And again, these are going to be external inspections. We will not be entering anybody's homes or anybody's businesses. Everything will be done from the outside with the inspections on this. There's our penalties from MWRD if we're not compliant. So some of those are loss of eligibility for funding assistance by MWRD. MWRD does not offer funding for the investigation. However, there is possibility for funding for construction. It's on a case-by-case basis. We could be reported of noncompliance to the Illinois EPA and the United States EPA. And then we could see a denial of construction permits. And this would be the most devastating penalty for the village of Alsip, because as we all know, we're trying to bring businesses here in town. We have existing businesses that are always looking to expand, and if we're not able to issue those permits that are required by MWRD, we could lose out on a lot of the businesses looking to set up here. So in summary, we're being mandated by MWRD to reduce the INI in our system. The village has complied with the mandate so far. We're a couple years into it now. The next step is to investigate the high priority area that we've identified. And again, this is just kind of the timeline of what we're looking to do. Smoke testing, manhole inspections, external property inspections, lift station inspections, starting now into 2018. And then before the end of 2019, complete the sanitary sewer cleaning and televising, and repair any defects that are identified from that investigation, which are unknown at this time. After 2019, I'm sorry. And that completes our presentation. Any questions?
Good report. were real thorough.
Thank you. Yeah, hopefully it explains a little bit better.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Next, Building Committee, Trustee Zelinski.
Yes, Mayor, I have a list of bills and timesheets, a request for approval of a variance for a 6-foot-high fence in front of the building line at 3432 West 123rd Place. Also, a request for approval for the VFW Memorial Post 450 Auxiliary Charity Event on Saturday, October 28th, 2017, to host a 1K race at approximately 11 a.m. with all proceeds for their related charity. And a request for approval of a block party for the residents of 4400 West Fay Lane on Saturday, August 19th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Approval has been received by police and fire. That is all.
Next, Water and Sewer, Trustee Dalzell.
Presentation list of bills and the employee time records. That's all I have, Mayor.
License Committee, Trustee Juarez.
Request for approval of a list of licenses dated July 24, 2017. That's all I have.
Economic Development, Trustee Pierce.
Mayor, we have a request for approval of an ordinance authorizing the purchase of property commonly known as 11706 to 11710 South Pulaski Road, Alsip, Illinois, in furtherance of the objectives of the redevelopment plan and project approved for the Pulaski Road Corridor Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project Area. And we have a request for approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip approving an agreement for the redevelopment of property located at 11638 South Pulaski Road, Village of Alsip, Cook County of Cook, State of Illinois, in furtherance of the objectives of the redevelopment plan and project approved for the Pulaski Road Corridor Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project Area.
Can you breathe now?
Yep.
That's
all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Planning and Zoning, Trustee Zelinski.
No report this evening, Mayor.
Special Committee reports, Village Properties, Trustee McGlohern.
No report.
Insurance Committee, Trustee McGrill.
I have no report.
Ordinance and Legislation, Trustee Pierce.
We have a request for an approval of ordinance amending Section 2-59, Selection and Removal of Appointed Officers, Division 2, Mayor of Chapter 2, Administration of the Municipal Code for the Village of Alsip, Illinois. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. IT, Trustee Dalzell.
No report.
Boat Launch, Trustee Juarez.
No report.
Human Resources, Trustee McGrill.
Just informational that the Human Resources Committee is going to meet in 2 weeks, a committee meeting on August 7th at 6:30 p.m. That's all.
Okay. Health and Pollution, Trustee Pierce.
No report, Mayor.
Is there any presentations, petitions, or communications to the board? I'd like to, just a couple of quick ones myself. First, Public Works and Engineer, thank you very much. Great presentation, guys. I mean, you really covered all the bases there with that. And just as a reminder to the public, too, that no one's going to be entering your home or anything like that to take a look at any of these sewer lines. This is just a visual inspection from the street, correct? Right. Okay. Also, wanted to share with everyone real quick, last week I did attend the groundbreaking ceremony for GC America. What GC America is going to do, currently they've got 3 campuses in town. One at 127th and Hamlin, another one at 123rd and Costner, and they share property with Crown Cork and Seal at 115th and Central. They're going to be keeping the one location at 127th and Hamlin, knocking down 2 strip businesses, basically campuses next to it, to make room for a new 150,000 square foot building that they're going to start putting up. This Thursday, I'm going to have a meeting with their construction company and their architect just to give us an overview, and I'm contacting department heads as needed to meet us for that meeting as well then too. I tell you that the ceremony was great. They actually brought in a Buddhist priest from Seattle. They actually made a saw cut in the asphalt where the property is going to be placed, and had a blessing ceremony out there. It was great. They brought in their corporate folks from Japan, and it was really a great meeting and so forth. And they had State Representative Al Riley is out there, and our Chamber of Commerce was out there. Mary Schmidt, thanks for being out there, and Roger Early representing our building department as well then too. So it was a good ceremony, and really looking forward to helping them come into town then too, as with new construction. And lastly, I want to extend a big thank you to a lot of folks here in the village. Unfortunately, last week, I had my youngest brother pass away from cancer. And I'll tell you, I'm sure a lot of people have known people who have had cancer in the past, and I really appreciate all the support, both from the village, and actually a lot of residents came by too, and I really want to just say thank you to everybody, especially for the floral arrangements and whatnot. That was beautiful. So moving on, number 9, would anyone like to remove any items from the consent agenda?
I would like to remove item Q.
Q?
Eric, we, as Fire Chief indicated, that item G has already been voted upon in the 7:10 meeting. And also item I, please.
Remove I?
Please.
And I'm sorry, trustee, what was the first thing you said on there, too? G?
G is in George.
Okay.
And you're saying that was approved on 7:10?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so, okay, can I get a motion then to establish a consent agenda?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay.
Can you call the roll, please, to establish?
Motion to establish the consent agenda as presented. Fill in the information, correct?
You probably should, right, put in the numbers, A and B in that.
Okay.
You can just say every letter except 2.
Right. Approval for the list of payroll. Item A should read $423,065.25. Item B should read $2,221.33. Item C is approval of the list of licenses dated 7/24/2017. Item G has been removed as it was approved on 7/10/17. Item I has been removed, and item Q has been removed. Roll call number 2 to establish the consent agenda as presented. Trustee McGreal?
Yes.
Trustee Dalzell?
Yes.
Trustee Pierce?
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski?
Yes.
Trustee Juarez?
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
You want to fill in the
Yes.
the ordinance numbers and so on?
You need a motion on 12. You need to, item 12. You need
Oh,
a
okay,
motion to
sure,
approve.
sure. Okay, we'll just get a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented,
As amended, it should be.
as amended.
Fill in the ordinance numbers first. She's got to fill in the ordinance numbers first.
So moved.
Well, we got to fill in the ordinance numbers.
She didn't do that yet.
Second? Get a second to the motion, folks? to-
Shouldn't we have the ordinance numbers first?
Absolutely. You can go back to D,
Okay.
Madam Clerk.
Letter D will now be known as ordinance number 2017-7-4. Letter E will now be known as ordinance number 2017-7-5. Letter F will now be known as ordinance number 2017-7-6. Letter H will now be known as ordinance number 2017-7-7. And letter J will now be known as resolution number 2017-7-R-1.
So trustee Dalzell made a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented and as amended. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Sorry, who was the
Trustee
second?
McLaughlin.
Thank you. Motion to approve the consent agenda as amended. Trustee McGreal.
Yes.
Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Pierce.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Going back to the items that were removed, the first, as Trustee Dalzell pointed out, letter G was already approved at a previous meeting. Was that just reintroduced? Did we have an ordinance number for that already? Do you know?
I would have to review it.
Okay. So we're going to review, the clerk's going to have to review and make sure we assigned a ordinance number to that. Trustee, you said we approved that at the last board meeting on the 10th?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Next, Trustee Dalzell removed item number I, removal of an ordinance amending Section 2-59, selection and removal of appointed officers, Division 2, the mayor, of Chapter 2, administration of the municipal code for the village of Alsip.
Mayor, I understand why we put that way back in the day. Things have changed since, and I don't see the reason that it would change it back over to the mayor. I think that the person is being a department head of one. It's certainly an important department. It's certainly a very specialized department. And I think that without the depth there, that if people have to go to you to get a determination, not that you're not intelligent in any of the HR aspects of it, but it just seems to me that by leaving the HR responsible back to the finance director, that adds to a little bit of depth.
Rick, I think you're on the wrong. I think what happened was there's a second agenda.
Okay.
That was actually pulled from tonight's agenda.
I see that.
You know what, Trustee, you're exactly right. The agenda was corrected on Friday. There was a corrected agenda submitted, and I did review this particular ordinance.
Apologies, then.
That I believe the village attorney, Vince, your office reviewed this one, right?
There were two copies of the ordinance proposed, and the final one that was attached to the agenda was one prepared by our office, if I remember. Is this the one we're talking about?
Yeah, it's the one that talks about human resources.
Well, I don't know what you...
That was my thing of confusion.
Well, I see, the problem is we don't have numbers.
They left it in the packet.
I did the same thing, Trustee Dalzell. I was lost at the beginning of the meeting.
I'm pulling this up right now.
It was on the first agenda, I believe, that was put out on Friday, but then when the packet went out, it was corrected.
So it's not, Trustee Dalzell, it's not on this agenda, but since we already established the consent agenda, the one that you did by pulling I, it was the one on the mayoral appointments. So we'll still have to vote on that one individually.
Okay. I apologize. I had the printout copy, and that's what I was looking at.
I did too.
The electronic version.
Well, that one is not even on the agenda, I don't think.
So this is the correct one?
This is one on the agenda, that's correct.
The official I is the ordinance amending Section 2-59, selection and removal of appointed officers.
This is the old agenda.
I got it here.
So
The very last...
It's this one here.
The very last item...
It's page 210 of 211.
Page 200 and what?
210.
209, 210.
Compared to...
Page 210 of
That's the ordinance
211
that was
pages.
removed, I believe.
No, I think this is the correct one.
Well, but that was removed from the consent agenda.
No. Oh, right, yes. We have to vote on this separately now.
It was removed from the consent. But that one is the one that was amended and changed by our office. Right. Yeah, but it was removed from the consent, so it needs an individual vote.
And again, this was authored by our village attorney.
So we're going to change it.
Yeah. And Mayor, just to add to the further confusion that I did here, the letter G that I pulled,
Yes.
New is part of the TIF purchase, and I didn't mean that.
Okay. So we do need to approve that then.
Yeah, it was letter F is what I was speaking to, and unfortunately, because we didn't pull that, I think we just voted on it.
And that was for the, letter F was for the false alarm ordinance. Right, okay.
Well, that means that we really, really, really wanted it.
Apparently, right. So, okay, so we'll finish up with letter I that we just spoke of. So can I get a motion and a second, please?
I'll make the motion.
That's your intent.
Trustee Pierce made the motion.
The second.
Okay, roll call number 4 to approve letter I, which states approval of an ordinance amending section 2-59, selection and removal of appointed officers, Division 2 Mayor of Chapter 2, Administration of the Municipal Code of the Village of Alsip, Illinois. Roll call number 4. Trustee McGreal.
Yes.
Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Pierce.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Motion carries. This will now be known as ordinance number 2017-7-8.
Then we'll go back to letter G. Approval of an ordinance authorizing the purchase of the property commonly known as 11706 to 11710 South Pulaski Road, Alsip, Illinois, in furtherance of the objectives of the redevelopment plan and project approved for the Pulaski Road Corridor TIF redevelopment project area. I need a motion to approve that.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Trustee Dalzell, you scared me on this one.
Okay.
Readers will leaders.
Roll call number 5 to approve item G as read into record by Mayor Ryan. Trustee McGreal.
Yes.
Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Pierce.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Motion carries. This will now be known as ordinance number 2017-7-9.
Okay, then finally, we had letter Q pulled, and this was approval of a variance for a 6-foot-high fence in front of a building line at 3432 West 123rd Place. That was Trustee McLaughlin?
Yes, I asked for this to be pulled because, as noted in the backup support, this is a privacy fence going in at a corner lot. And I personally have issues with the visibility or limited visibility that a 6-foot privacy fence on a corner lot will cause. So based on that, I can't go along with allowing that type of fence in front of the property line just for safety issues.
You know, Roger, have you had a chance to review this?
Go out and visit the property. I did walk it with the homeowner. He presently has a 4-foot cyclone fence on the property, which I did explain to him on the back side of his property. He did have a double fence, which one way or the other, he is going to have to take it out because his fence backs up to it. He has an opening. He's got dogs. He's looking to build on the property line, in which I'm not very comfortable with putting on it. If he wanted to set it back at normal lengths, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But setting it on the property line, it is a 6-foot-high vinyl fence. I would not make that recommendation.
So go past the front of the house, or is it?
Yeah, I was going to ask the same. Roger?
Is it in the front? Is it in the front yard setback?
Say that again?
Is it in the front yard setback?
Yes.
Does it go past the front of the house?
As it sits now, yes. As it's proposed, no.
But I thought,
It's the rear of the house that's going to be blocked.
because I thought based on the drawings, it looks like both front.
No, he's cutting it off at his sidewalk. The existing is coming off of the property, off the front of the house. He's moving it back 15 feet to the sidewalk line, which is his back door.
Well, I was going to say, because that's not what it looks like in the drawings. Well, there's just one. I mean, I
Trustee,
guess
what page are you on,
find
please?
it.
We're getting there.
Just think you could put a go-to page on it, thing.
In the beginning or the end?
Okay, it must be up here a little bit.
116.
Got it. I
116.
just got there.
Page what?
116.
Okay, that's what I
This
said.
is existing. All he's looking at doing is going from 4 foot to 6 foot here, and then right now it's here. He's
You
looking
can't
at
tell by your stick.
Looks
and
like
going back.
You can't.
but it's along
And then-
there.
right,
Is it-
right here, which is a double fence.
Yeah, but it's still.
You should just postpone it, you get a better picture. It's hard. It's hard over here. Yeah, it doesn't have the fence drawn on it, you can't tell.
Now I know how to get it to a
This is a
picture.
double fence right here.
I can't, you should just table it until you get a better picture.
Oh, 16.
We're going to have a
Thank you.
special meeting next week anyway.
What he does want
Gotta
to
get a
do
better
is
picture.
okay. He's got dogs that he wants to block off. Existing at the front here, he's looking to go in here and back to the garage.
So it's still coming all the way out here?
No, right here, right off the sidewalk. But this is still being
Well,
blocked.
So this is the sidewalk.
Correct.
And it's going all the way up to the sidewalk.
Yep, that's it. Correct. That's what
Okay.
he's asking.
Right, and that's
So-
it's still a no.
So, Trustee McGuire, actually, I was just talking with the village attorney. Can you actually see in that drawing where that fence is posted? Is going to be positioned? Because but I'm looking at this, and I really can't see it myself.
Looks like just off the sidewalk.
It's going along the sidewalk
It doesn't say that.
on the Trumbull side.
And then on the sidewalk.
But it's got a radius at the corner, so that gives a site stopping distance for traffic in that area.
The garage here.
In front of the house is here, right?
I just don't know where the neighbors'
So it's not going in the front,
driveway
it's
is
not going in the front yard.
comparison to that.
going right on the property.
What's the address? Give me the address.
sidewalk.
So we're okay then. He's nowhere near the
Back in yard, he's going behind the back of the
Here,
house.
but
Correct.
you have a neighbor with a
123rd.
driveway here.
Place.
This is a double fence here.
They first learned about that.
This is not double, except for this 4 foot right
And I
here,
don't know if that's the case or not.
Okay.
which is the front of the house. And then this one here, there's the sidewalk here, he's looking at going.
It looks,
Typically, you would not allow a
I
fence
tried zooming up a little bit,
in
but
the, on the left side of that house that's in front of the back line of the house.
really can't
You're
tell.
saying he's not doing that. They gotta get a better picture next time with the color.
Yeah, color it in, yeah.
What color?
Mike's really good at this stuff.
Oh.
There's the actual house.
Oh,
Well, you should just table it the next
And
meeting and get a
they
picture
have
of the color on
fence
it.
along the sidewalk.
all
over
the way
on
here?
that side.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He
Along
doesn't
here.
want it on the sidewalk either, so you got it how far back?
I can't
So-
tell
Yeah.
from that exactly.
You
I'll-
can touch the picture and move it, Chris. You can. It's touch.
Like right at the property line.
Yeah, so,
No, well, so there's no driveway or any incursion on that, and if they're gonna radius this, then the site stopping distance shouldn't be affected by anybody. What about the other side of the house, though? Is there another neighbor close to there?
As the neighbor backs up to him, yes.
Right, because I got the driveway here, you know, the driveway here is the fence.
All the way up.
The neighbor, does they have a driveway right along here?
I believe it's going to
That'd be terrible. Because it's a 6 foot
Yeah.
high fence, the
You
neighbor,
can't see through it. Right, you're right.
He was to move this
Well, you
That's
gotta
fine.
get a picture
block
of
it in
this.
here, and go across.
It's,
Get rid of the double fence, but he would have to talk to this neighbor, see if he can get
they
rid
gotta
of
know
this.
what they're doing. They have no
well, we don't allow
idea.
double fencing anyhow.
And it's, he's already got it, it's existing.
Leave it tabled and
Yeah.
get clarification.
Right.
Going back in. But what I told him was put it here,
Oh, wait, till you
and
get
ask
some.
this neighbor to take this out.
That's in the front?
this
This
is
section right here, so he's here to here.
So he wants to come all the way around the front of his house?
Trustees, I would hate to slow down anybody's progress, because, you know, especially with just a plot of survey like that. But obviously, there's some question between what Trustee McLaughlin was looking at, and even what the village attorney and the rest of us are looking at, too. It's kind of hard to understand. I'd like to make a suggestion that we table this for at least a week. We're going to meet next Monday, and we are establishing a special board meeting after which, so we're not going to slow down the homeowner too much. We can always put that on there for approval after which. But I'd like to see a better picture with a better graph on what they plan to do. Would everybody okay with tabling it?
Well, it's been removed, so we
You don't need a motion table, you just pass on it.
Right. So we're going to table that till next Monday night, and we'll speak to it then. And then, Roger, if we can get the yeah, even a photograph would look great too, and so we know exactly
And
what
you
we're
need a
looking at.
photograph of the fence, and his plot survey here with somebody drawing a red line exactly where the fence is going.
So we know exactly what we're approving, because it does throw you off a little bit, folks. What we're looking at is it's a corner house. It's got a radius corner to it, and it's kind of hard to pick up on where the fence is going to start and stop. So we want to be sure that we're doing something in the right interest of the village, and especially what the building inspector said, too, as far as the setback and all that goes. We want to make sure we're in compliance before we approve this, that's all. So we'll leave that table until next week. So we'll just, any unfinished business? None?
Yes. Is there any update on that issue that they were having with booting the cars on Pulaski? Because I know someone else that just had a big problem with that today, and they want to charge them like $190 for his trailer and $190 for his truck.
Good.
And it sounds like
So I heard, but I haven't confirmed, that they booted a handicap pace bus today.
Oh, seriously?
That's what I heard.
Oh, God. Do you know?
I have a ordinance from Aurora, and I have one from Chicago. I'm going to send the one from Aurora over to the village attorney for final review, and then the ordinance committee can go ahead and pass that. It's pretty much ready to go. Just want to make sure the language is okay with the village attorney.
Yeah, there is no state law or any law which governs booting of vehicles, period. State law only governs the towing of vehicles off private property. So somebody can operate a booting operation any way they want to do it, unless you adopt an ordinance which puts restrictions on it. Chicago does, obviously, because this happens all the time in Chicago. But if you want to restrict it, then it's up to you to pass an ordinance.
The ordinance that I submitted will require them to be licensed by the village. It'll also restrict some of their fees and things of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing I brought up before, folks, about private property. You know, they found a loophole in the law, whereas typically whenever you pull in a lot and there's restrictions on parking, they'll tow your car to make it available for the existing businesses, but they find a loophole where they're actually going to immobilize your car, which is just about as ignorant as it gets. You know, they're actually going to trap you into charging you, $190 for your car. And again, we've heard of businesses being hit for as much as $500 to start their day. And I just think it's terrible, and our hands are cuffed. And they're trying to pull this in a handful of towns. It's not just ours. So we're doing what we can to combat that. But as the chief said, he's working on this to do what we can to slow it down and to at least regulate it.
So when the Dunkin' Donuts moved, I mean, I was obviously planning and zoning went out there and figured out if they had enough parking, or I mean, this seems to be the issue.
What it is it's just it's lackadaisical parking is what it is. It's you've got an oversized truck and you're not going to pull into a drive-through, and there's an empty parking lot sitting there, and that's what they're doing. They're out there actually, they're identifying with vehicles that are too large. They pull into an easy parking lot, and folks jump out of their car, run in, and sure enough, that you've got all of like 2 minutes to get in and get out. If that, you're in there getting your coffee. And I've already met with the manager at the Dunkin' Donut. They've got signs plastered over their windows and everything else. They feel terrible, and they're doing whatever they can to combat it. But these guys are actually out there looking for violators to pull this on.
Can you block, the north-south between the two businesses? I mean, is there an entrance and an exit to that strip mall?
There actually is a driveway there, and I actually did I did suggest, did you want to put some cones in that driveway so none of your customers went in there? And she's like, well, like anything else, there's a driveway there for access because not everybody wants to take the one straight out. And certainly that's their prerogative to do. They're hurting themselves by doing that, by not taking advantage of an idea like that. But I can't make those kind of suggestions to people. I just had a conversation with. I'm not there to tell them how to run their business. But I certainly feel terrible for the residents that are being hurt by this. And what I'm being told, too, by the angry phone calls I get to my office is they won't patronize any businesses in Alsip once they get a taste of something like that. And I can tell you even worse is just, like anything else in this world, just, for example, a practical application, your car breaks down, you roll into a parking lot, it's bad enough your car just broke down, now this guy's going to throw a boot on it, so now you need $200 to get him off you and so forth then, too. And I can tell you, it can be my mom, your mom, anybody's, she's not built for that. They're just, not just financially even, but some folks can't even get around. They're going to stand there and demand cash. And it's just wrong, but it's a loophole in the laws that many suburbs are being affected by right now, and we're doing what we can to combat that.
I'd be in favor of the attorney looking to draft something for.
Yeah. We've already looked into it and talked with the chief about it, because we haven't encountered it anywhere else, the booting in the south suburbs. But if somebody can make some money quick, you can do it with booting. I mean, you can't tow a car if the person is there. Okay, but you can boot a car if the person's there. So
it's something where all the patrolmen, the officers that have been out too. I mean, we've got the chief, we've got 18, 19-year guys that have never seen this before, and everybody was kind of, we had to dig in the books here a little bit, but. And unfortunately, we can't just patrol those particular properties. And we've already been threatened with the idea, they've told the chief as much, that they've got 2 other sites picked out in our village for that yet, too, which they haven't set up shop on yet. So I've actually spoke to some local businesses and actually even the high school to make them aware of what might happen, to be on their toes for this kind of thing, and to be vigilant. So
I can appreciate if the business owned the lot and it was for their customers and they had it properly posted and it was affecting their clientele. But this is a vacant lot that serves no other purpose but to collect $200 from unsuspecting people.
And from what I understand, it's not happening during business hours. It's happening at like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Rush hour. That's when they target the people.
Yeah. So I'd be in favor of getting that ordinance in place.
Yeah.
How long is it going to take? Can we get it for next week?
Yeah.
And have it at the special meeting?
Can we approve it at the special meeting?
Get it done?
was that what night?
We might have it ready
Monday.
by next Monday night, maybe?
Yeah, we can.
Why wait? Get it on the books.
I mean, we're not going to make it as Chicago's one is overboard, but we'll make them have a license here. We'll tell them they have to have somebody there. They have to accept credit cards and debit cards. They can't boot the vehicle if somebody returns it. And things like that. We'll have a minimum amount of time. We'll figure it out.
And the license for that is $10,000 a year?
Well, for all the complaints that you have for all the complaints that you have about it, it probably should be a high license fee.
Really high.
Yeah.
Can we create a new classification for that?
That's for the attorneys to work on. But thank you for asking, though, Trustee, because, yes, we are working on that, yes. Any new business?
I just want to throw out a couple of reminders then. Final budget meeting, review meeting this Wednesday at 6:30. And then next Monday at 6:30 will be the public budget hearing. And then at 7 o'clock will be the special meeting to approve the budget and now a few other items that we've added on.
Okay.
That's the 31st?
Yes.
Great. Can I get a motion to adjourn then, please?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Great. All in favor?